Hello, hello, hello. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. Today I want to talk about something that a little different than what I normally talk about. Today I want to talk about, I had a friend of mine had to leave the Philippines because his visa, his 3 years was up, and he couldn't get it updated enough. He had paid actually some money to stay in December, but he eventually had to leave. He gave him an extra 30 days. But I want to talk about this a second. Foreigners leaving the Philippines in 2020. I found this very interesting. More than 400,000 Koreans have left the Philippines since, this information comes from Manila Times, had left this last year in 2020. It's going to continue, of course, into they said that there will be quite a few more first part of the year here. The fact is because it was booming at one time, January, February, March, and then all of a sudden it hit. The second largest batch of aliens left were Americans. There was just a little over 300,000 Americans that left the Philippines. These statistics come from the Bureau of Immigration. Chinese was followed with Chinese, and the Japanese 166. There was actually a little bit more than that. Based on BI's September figures, less than half a million Chinese are still left here in the Philippines. But what is the first time they actually see more departures than entries? Excuse me, I hit the phone with my foot. Close to 189,000 Chinese arrived in the Philippines from January to September, and 292,000 left. So more left than came. They wanted to really they tried to get tourism up to a standard, but I found it really amazing here. A total of, from 2013 to 2019, 6.4 million Chinese arrived in the country from 2013, but 6.1 million left. In 2020, due to the pandemic, there was actually less Chinese arrived. Of course, and then 300,000 left. Quite a few Americans are leaving because they can't get updated on the visa. They're not married and things like that, which is really hard, because what happens with that is as you know, tourism is a very important part here in the Philippines, and if everybody leaves the country, it's going to really affect the tourism part, because we tend to spend more money, and I can vouch for that from what I order and what I buy and what I do and where I go and what we do is more so than anything else. But I find it really quite interesting how now this next week we're headed to CDO we're going to try to do a couple of days. We'll see. We can get there. Davo's really hard for us to go to Davo. Ruth is still planning to go there. We did not know we need the QR code. We did not know we got a QR code to go to Davo, but we did not get it for Tagum. And you need it for Tagum. I guess there's two different QR codes. So it's really quite interesting. Each area is different. As a friend of mine says, he couldn't even tell if there's he lives there in the Philippines. They don't even wear masks where he lives and things like that. So he said you couldn't even tell there's a pandemic. Nobody wears face shields. It's just business as usual. So it depends on where you're at in the Philippines. It depends what island you're on. It depends what area you're at. But here where we're at, it's very strict. And I have to applaud them for doing that, because presently, as it's now in my area here where I live, we don't have any present cases of the honey badger. So a shout out for that. But I want to report that. I did not realize that over 300,000 Americans had left. And they said by the first quarter of this year there'd be a possibility of 100,000 for the first quarter of this year of Americans will be leaving, because their visas are up and they're going to have to plan to leave during that time, unless they, get married or whatever, or open it up. I thought maybe it'd be open by now, but as far as the visas, but it's. We don't know what's going on with that, but I thought I'd kind of report that. You can find this information in Manila Times. God bless everybody, and thank you so much.